Glad I didn't say that.
I'll call this meeting of the Pownell DRB to order, May 7th, 2023 at 7 PM. Approval of the agenda, approval of minutes of April 19th, DRB meeting, findings and decisions, permit number 23-007, Robert Volpe, subdivision on Carpenter Hill Road, West. We'll have a discussion on site visit product procedures, review and discussion on that. Public comment and adjourn.
I make a motion to accept that thing as read. Second.
Do you want to do a roll call, Hannah, or are we fine?
You guys are right, it's fine.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
And all those opposed? Any abstentions? Pass. Approval of the minutes.
Everybody's read the minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll accept the motion.
I make the motion to accept the minutes as printed. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Findings and decisions for permit number 23-007.
I've read it.
Also,
No comments?
Nope, I have no questions. No.
Okay, I'll accept the motion.
I make a motion to accept the
Findings and decisions.
finding and decisions as printed.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Any abstentions? Okay. Site visit procedure review and discussion. I believe this is you, Carl. So what do you got?
Hannah's got all the paperwork, so we'll put it to her.
Okay.
So if you guys remember a couple weeks ago, it was actually a few weeks ago now, that we talked about in Morrisville, Vermont, they had
Yeah.
a situation where to avoid any safety issues on the site that they were doing, they had a couple DRB members come to the site at a time to avoid having a quorum and then avoid violating open meeting law. They couldn't ask any questions or anything while they were there, just to keep it, they wanted to keep it as kosher as possible, I guess, and then bring things to the public hearing. So I reached out to when they like reconvened at a meeting. So I reached out to Cale Romanoff at VLCT, and his response was that that board was careful to not have a quorum on site at the same time in an effort to not implicate the open meeting law and risk a non-handicap accessible meeting of the board. We think this is proper for a couple reasons. First, we generally advise that no testimony be taken at the site visit. And if it is inadvertently present, it should be represented at the hearing, because although a quorum of the board is likely present at the site visit, the site visit is not the hearing, and the testimony should be presented after the hearing is officially opened. So even if a quorum of the board is present at that site visit, they should not be talking about it until the hearing. So going one by one to the site won't change that, and any testimony uncovered on site will need to be represented at the hearing. The board and any public can use the site visit to see the proposal in person and spatially so that they can better understand the proposal and any plans presented as part of the application. But as the Morristown it was Morristown, not Morrisville, I guess. ZA was concerned about. There is the outside chance that there will be a handicapped member of the public wishing to attend, and the town likely could not make accommodations in that case. I think this is a low likelihood concern, but it is real. I think the Morristown approach is legal, but it may be overly cautious and could cause some concern for lack of transparency by some of your residents. Another option is to ask the applicant to put up survey stakes and have the board swing by the site at their own convenience to see the proposal, or instead limit the site visit to viewing from the road or right of way to avoid an unsafe site. I hope this helps.
Those are good ideas. I didn't think about it from the perspective of that the town would be responsible if somebody got hurt, because it would be if it's a meeting, it's a town meeting. They're responsible. I didn't even think of that.
And we've got, in lots of these cases, when you do site visits, the attendees tend to have opposition to the project. So that was a thought that I'd had, do we allow them in for a site visit? Or do we just allow them to view the schematics and plot plans and proposals that we get? Or do we go with a hold harmless agreement for individuals, entering said pieces of property?
I think we've got to look at it on a case by case basis.
Well, that,
I mean, we have to have a policy, I agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
But,
See, that's where it's gonna get funky is when do you implement the policy, when don't you? I can understand with the gravel bed, the Morristown one, which was a gravel bed, reclamation, I believe, and I can understand where you don't want people going into a gravel bed situation, but, like the South Stream piece of property, there were several instances where uneven ground was present.
yes,
Mud, different aspects of
Yeah.
that site visit could have caused complications for people.
Maybe have some people sign something before they go on
but that's,
doing that. I mean, I don't know.
I'll take my soul out of my body for a minute, and no offense to Sid if he ever listens to this, but a hold harmless is really not, I mean, you can make them sign it, still doesn't mean you can't get sued.
Right.
Then what's the point?
Exactly. It was a good faith measure, signing a hold harmless.
Right.
My niece actually had to sign one of those before she raced snowmobiles. And in the court of law, it really won't stand up very well. Hold harmless only goes just so far. So,
I mean, if we are, only reason why we're going there is to look at it,
correct.
we can turn around and implement the
I like that.
perspective. I like the second option that they kind of have there. They put the site stakes up and you can go and look at it.
Now, to be honest with you, as a quorum, as a group, does it benefit the board to go as a board?
Sometimes.
If you follow what they
The
said
clarity isn't there.
Right, but if you're not conducting it as a meeting.
Right.
If you're not taking evidence there and all you're doing is going and looking, really, you can go and look. And then the evidence is presented here.
Correct.
I mean, that's it in a nutshell, because
In a way, it would be simpler for the board to go individually at their, appointed times. And that way there, we don't all have to coordinate
correct,
as a group to do a site visit.
yes,
And as a board, we should have access to this at different times, to be honest
Correct.
with you, which would give you a better
Correct.
site.
Sometimes things on paper, you can't get the whole picture.
Sure.
So
correct.
then, you need to see.
But you have to watch yourself when you go there and you look. And the way I take it is we're not supposed to ask questions there.
Yeah.
We're supposed to ask the questions here. So,
I can agree on that.
so if that's the case, then we go, we look. There's no need for all of us to go as a quorum there to look at it, because we're going to look. And anything we say there has to be re-said here.
Because we've made this mistake. We've done that exact thing in the
Yes.
past. When we did the motel site visit down there, we had an extensive discussion on site. And I don't believe any of that was reiterated. at a
No,
meeting.
none of it was.
So, I think that is a very good procedure to adopt from
Yeah.
forth.
Yes.
You know,
So if there's gonna be like really
So that would be
diligent
okay to
writing,
go if you
hard
need to
remember
and
send it
just
to the public
bring
hearing.
something right down to your notes to yourself.
Yeah.
Take notes.
Bring up
it
at a meeting.
here. In front of a group of
Okay.
people that didn't go to the site,
Right.
to be fair.
Yeah, thinking about how that's laid out
Yeah.
like that and what we've done in the past, yeah, that
And you will
doesn't
have,
even seem fair for the townspeople, because anybody that wants to watch,
Right, they're
or
not.
wanted to come to a meeting, didn't see that
they're
meeting
not
because they
seeing-
were.
Yeah,
Correct.
they're not seeing any of the input or discussion that was had at those site visits.
Yes.
So I can definitely see where that would be beneficial to the process by not
And if-
conducting any discussion.
And if we go and look at it individually, well, it's going to be the people that, the regular citizens are going to be looking at it the same way we are.
Right.
Okay?
So, yeah, I guess what we should do is, per this discussion, have Hannah draft a procedural, document as far as site visits for us.
Yes.
So we have something on file and then we
Yeah.
can discuss that further when the board is here.
Yeah.
And get a draft of those procedures and.
Yes.
If we do choose, and I'd love that discussion with the rest of the board here, if we choose to go as a group or choose to go individually, and whether or not we allow individuals to go to the site visit.
You can't stop individuals from going to the site because they're going as individuals.
But
We can.
technically, their rights end at the property line.
Okay,
As in a butter, anything that goes on
but if
is
we-
you're only affected from your property line.
correct. But if we go as a board, we have no right to tell anybody else not to come because
Why?
it's a board meeting.
But it's on private property.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, if we go as a board.
Because here's
If we
the
go
thing.
individually, we don't have to
Right.
allow, correct?
Correct.
Individually.
Correct. Here's the thing. That's like when they do
But by that same token, the appearance of impropriety may rear its ugly head.
Because-
if we choose in certain instances to go individually and in other
and we have to make a
instances-
policy of just, this is the way we're gonna do it unless there can be this is our policy.
I have a question.
Say the Route 346 thing comes up,
Okay.
all right?
Why can't we just, if we choose to go as our board, just look at what we're not understanding on paper. We don't have to vocalize anything. Look, make notes. You make notes to yourself, you, whoever, and don't even have to discuss anything.
Correct.
Then the information that I have, that I want to question, when we have our next meeting, I can bring it up because I was there. I saw, now I have a question. So then we're not interfering with a pro or con
Right.
in anything that we're looking at.
May I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's the thing. What the Morrisville was concerned about wasn't so much, well, they were concerned about, but if you have a on-site meeting where you have a quorum, it is considered a public meeting. If it's considered a public meeting, then the public is entitled to come.
Because it's warned that way.
It's warned.
But it's not a meeting. It's not.
Does not matter.
a meeting.
Once you have a quorum.
Once you, like right now.
It
look,
constitutes a
If
meeting.
if us four meet somewhere and we discuss anything that has to do with this,
Like you're at a wedding, somebody's wedding. and-
so maybe wedding, you have just to make sure that all four of us doesn't get together at the same time.
Right.
Because technically, that's violating the open meeting law.
Yeah, you can't, if all of us met at McDonald's, just happened to show up, and we all just sat down at the same table.
And
You
discussed.
can't talk any business about anything that you do in town.
Yeah.
That's a quorum then, because we all are.
And the real concern, the way I take it from that is that if you have a site, the town is responsible for, because we're having a meeting, the town there takes responsibility
For our action.
for our actions and the.
Okay.
So if we have the
I see
public,
that side of the coin.
so the
Okay. I
public
just didn't
comes
see
to
the harm on
that,
the other.
and you
but-
have somebody that is disabled and they can't access every single place that we go to, then that's a violation of the ADA.
Yeah, I like the idea of just going to individually,
Individually then?
look at it, no, don't warrant anything to go to the sites?
I guess.
Because I'm just looking at it as a perspective of a landowner. If there are tenants or if there's adjacent owners and stuff aren't getting along, but they have the right to be at a meeting.
On
And
your
I don't want them
property.
right, and you don't want them on that property.
The issue,
They're allowed
the
to come
issue,
there.
you're never gonna have an issue when everybody's, when the permit is not an issue.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
So if I were to go look at something myself, then, and you have these opposing people, if you will, that's cool,
No, if you go and you look,
yeah.
okay, and then you come back,
And I don't say a word to anybody,
you're just gonna go and look.
right?
Because it's going to be whenever you can go. So I highly doubt, and if it's that bad of a problem, we've got bigger issues than just getting on there. But, now is that, I guess it's when you write up the proposed, whatever we call
See,
it.
this is where I was trying to get some clarification for Hannah is, do we want to do this all the time? Or do we want to
Case.
case by case and allow us discretion?
I
I got a question.
And
Hannah,
when we started, we should
find out what Morrisville,
Wait.
or is it Morrisville?
We don't.
Find out what they
go
do.
their meetings. We're gonna do.
That would be,
And that's what I think. I think if we're gonna do it, we do all of them.
I think that's the way we have to kind of.
I think
Unless
because my feeling is the, pros and cons, the opposition and the proponents of a
Yeah.
permit. Do they themselves need to participate in a site visit?
Yes,
Why?
because they're the public.
Yep,
But they're,
Actually, Hannah, could you ask what the hell do they call those?
LTC?
Yes, those people. Ask those people. There you go.
Well, there was mention of open meeting laws and site visits. The spirit of the law is to allow people to show up. So you don't necessarily have to, but the spirit and the intention of the wording was to allow people to show up.
See,
So this is where the gray area came in with Morristown, because the spirit of, and the intention of it is to allow the public to participate in a site visit also. But in a certain circumstance, like I said, with the gravel bed thing, or, say an inaccessible piece of property. There could be, I don't know what, there's a lot of what ifs and therefores, but last time I opened my mouth, we got in trouble, so I won't use a hypothetical.
Yeah, no, we won't.
No more hypotheticals. But, there could be an instance where, landowners, neighbors are not getting along per se. And, at that point, we could allow an area for them to attend where they're allowed to the site visit, but they stay in that one area where it's safe. And there won't be they'll be closer to the site and be able to do a visit that way, but not wander around as we have in the past.
And that seems like a very gray, shady.
But here's my
They're gonna
thing.
go, well, I didn't get to see what you guys saw or something.
Correct.
Yes.
But-
But I mean, when we were at Babson's and wandered around the backside of the building, I mean,
But
technically that wasn't a safe area.
correct. But technically, here's the way I look at it. If we are not discussing anything at those meetings, if all we are is looking. In a respect, it might be better if we go individually.
So therefore, we don't have to warn it, we don't have to allow public.
Yeah, I don't think.
Oh, I would put it from the simple perspective is it will cut down on discussions there.
Oh, absolutely. Therefore, by that same token, there wouldn't be a need for the public to visit,
Correct.
which we can get some clarification on that. I believe it is totally legal that we do not allow public participation on a site visit.
And maybe if it's not that way, if you do have to allow them to, you could kind of do a mix of both where you guys do just go like solely into it, but then you also have the landowner put up the stakes or something, just like the entrance to the property so they can view it from outside of the property. I don't know if that's an option, just because I don't know how that works, if it is.
Right.
You have to make it.
Depends upon the extent.
Right,
Right.
but the big thing is we have to get out of the, I guess the way I'm looking at it is we have to kind of get out of the habit of having the landowner having part of our meeting there.
Right.
Right, that's what I'm thinking, just.
Because we
Here.
haven't brought that information back.
Here.
Presented it here.
And as a board member, I think that I would do a disservice to any permit that I didn't fully understand if I didn't see it. And that's not all the time. It, could be once.
Right, whenever we have to.
And if I could just see it, I mean, I don't care who's there,
What I had asked.
so I can understand what I'm looking at.
was find out what.
That makes me a better participant here.
They may end up, let's not try to.
And I don't have to speak to anybody.
they may have-
I don't have to say a word to anybody, and I wouldn't.
Exactly what we need.
There wouldn't be a necessity to owner or.
And I understand where you're coming from. You want to have it there. I'm kind of coming from the perspective is
And if I went with
the
another board
on-site
member, would that
meeting
constitute?
becomes less of a value
Okay.
if we're not doing anything there but looking.
Okay,
You can
And
make
that would
somebody
be for
there,
our,
that's-
our own,
Correct.
our own purposes.
because sometimes when there is a permit and there is a description, and whoever writes the description doesn't make a full view of it on paper, then sometimes you have to do a site visit
The aerial
to
photos.
be, the best you can.
Yeah, it's not gonna be all of our permits, it's only gonna be the select few of things that we wanna look at, but I think, I mean, I'd like to hear the rest of the board too, when they get everybody in, but
We're just talking now. We're just a bunch of people here talking.
I think
Talking.
all that would be just
Since I've been on the board, I think we've been to 3.
I was thinking, yeah, prior to that, we did the motel, that was 4.
We did the motel.
That's all I'm at.
Sid did something hybrid, kind of like up at, the Pottery Girl.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Okay, because I think it was, you could come up and look. If you can't make it there on time, here's the, if I remember correctly, dear God, it's been so long ago.
I did not make that
No, I didn't make it either.
I mean, the public can look too, but this is the place for the public to have.
This is the place for the discussion.
Right.
Yes, this is the better place for the discussion. It's more of a controlled setting.
Yeah. And then,
And by that same token, when we did, Phil and Dana's up here, there was a presentation at that.
Yes,
Which I'm not sure if we did duplicate it here or not, I can't recall.
I don't think we did.
I don't remember.
And I don't think that should take place. I think.
I think they had a meeting and they had minutes and all of that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that,
Wasn't represented and
Right.
duplicated either, so I think that, that's a great thing not to do.
Yeah, there's none that I can remember that we came back and talked on.
Right, because I know Dana had a bunch of information and it was presented and that should.
and then there was people then there was people there discussing it and all that.
Oh, yeah, no.
And that's something that really needs to be brought back in here.
Correct, I think we just go, get an overview, make it really quick. And, that way there, like I said, we don't have to coordinate it if we go individually. It cuts out on the Monday morning thing and whatnot.
Yeah,
So
I think
that would.
individually still, I'm just individual or a couple people running over, take a look at some point in time.
So long as it's less than
Must be less than 3
people. That'd be 2 people.
And, in a timely fashion, within a 3 or 4 day span. So
Yeah.
the landowner's aware the week of,
X, we're gonna be there.
we'll be there prior to a meeting. if you want prior notification of us showing up.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's gonna be some-
We
that's gonna be something
definitely have
that-
to have the notification.
Right, but a site
Someone
visit is
just
gonna
showing
be.
up these days on property.
yeah, yeah, I
Right?
get it.
Idea.
Not a good idea at all.
Right, but a site visit is going to be something that is going to be after the initial meeting.
Correct.
Right.
So.
Okay.
That can kind of, we
Yeah.
can kind of turn around
And the
and,
landowner may be able to coordinate that, say,
Yeah.
Tuesday, between
Tuesday,
the
all day
hours of
Tuesday.
here and here, I have 4 slots open, and then Wednesday I have
Yeah.
4 slots open.
Okay.
I can do that, Wednesday, Thursday,
Yes.
weekend, people.
That's a good idea because you don't know if you need a site visit until you've had a meeting and go, geez.
Right.
I understand.
I mean,
And that's, that constitutes a continuation and.
yeah,
Yep.
So, yeah,
so I guess we'll be discussing this again.
Okay, I put it on the next agenda.
okay. All right, any public comments?
Jim Kosis joined while I was at the table. Do you want me to let him in and see if he has any public comment?
Yeah, public comment, he has to, oh, there's Jim. I see him. I don't see him yet. I see that he joined.
Hey, Jim, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I'm sorry.
Jim, hi, sorry, I was sitting at the table, I just went back to my computer and saw that you were in. We just opened up for public comment, I know that you didn't get to see it, but, I don't know if you have any questions about any items that are in the agenda, we could maybe do like a brief overview, or I can just send you the video link.
Oh, no, that's no problem. I was just waiting for the public comment section because I guess there's just a confusion that I have on my part because I heard it in a planning board meeting. But I just wanted to follow up, maybe just some misunderstandings of some people thinking that we have now nice bylaws, we have some nice zoning laws. And I guess the only question I have is just so we can clear up in the town, any businesses that do open up, well, are there any businesses that can open up that do not really have to go through a permit process or anything like that? I mean, the one discussion I had was back when I guess the planning was just going through the type of restrictions or regulations for bed and breakfasts or type of things like that. And it got tabled, which I was just a little concerned, but I just wanted to make sure our bylaws are written in such a way that that all businesses really need to go through a permit process to make it fair for everyone. Or are there items in the bylaws that will allow any business to open up because it's not mentioned in there? That's all. I just put it down for future discussions, but I just want to make sure everyone is understood with the whole process. Thank you.
Okay. Okay,
Is there anyone in there?
I guess that's good to hear. Right now, we're just talking about it because it was something that was in the news and I had a question on it.
But that's fine. I'm
Okay, I saw it on the Digger, they had an article on that and I'd asked Hannah to look into it, that was all. We were just
Yeah, no,
having a
that's fine.
discussion about it.
I don't think it's not brought up for a discussion tonight. It's for just future discussion.
Oh, okay, sorry about that, my mistake.
Yep, no problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other public comment?
Nope, I don't think so, it's just Jim there.
Okay.
All righty.
I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
One second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.